On most nights in Port Charles, Sonny Corinthos is the man people whisper about in dim corners and avoid crossing at all costs. But on this night, he is something far more dangerous than a mob boss protecting his territory. He is the only thing standing between the town's newly re-elected mayor and a scandal that could burn every fragile alliance he has left to the ground. General Hospital is quietly lining up the pieces for a brutal war between Sonny and Jen Sidwell, and it all begins with a corpse in the trunk of Laura Collins' car. Laura should be soaking in the glow of victory, accepting congratulations, and promising a better future for her city. Instead, she opens her trunk and comes face to face with the lifeless body of Professor Henry Hank Dalton, the very man she had threatened not long before. The irony is razor sharp. The woman who has spent years trying to balance justice and compassion now finds herself standing over a dead man tied directly to her temper and her choices. Panic isn't something Laura lets the world see, but in that moment, it surges through her. Every headline, every political opponent, every secret she's ever tried to bury flashes through her mind. She has no playbook for this. She has one number to call. When she reaches out to Sonny, it isn't a political calculation, it's pure survival. Sonny arrives not as the mayor's ally or the town's shadow ruler but as someone who understands what it means when the line between lawful and lawless collapses. He doesn't waste time asking how Dalton ended up in her trunk. That question can wait. The body cannot. Sonny's code has always been twisted but consistent. You protect the people you consider yours, even if it means staining your hands further. And in his own way, Laura is his. A friend, a leader he respects, a woman he refuses to watch be destroyed. Sonny brings in the only person he trusts with a mess this lethal, Jason Morgan. Cold efficiency meets rising chaos as Jason does what Jason has always done, turns a disaster into a clean, clinical operation. The goal is simple but terrifying in its implications: remove Dalton, erase every trace from Laura's car, and make it as though the professor simply vanished. It's the kind of quiet erasure that has kept Sonny's empire standing for decades. But this time, the cost is much higher. Dalton isn't just a problem, he is a key witness, a liability tied to multiple storylines converging in Port Charles, including young Rocco Falconeri's case. His sudden disappearance will not go unnoticed, and Sonny knows it. On paper, Dalton's removal might look like a win for Sonny. Without the professor, Rocco's legal situation could crumble, and the case might be dismissed. It's the kind of outcome Sonny would usually welcome with open arms: one less threat to the kid, one more loose end tied off. Yet this victory tastes bitter. Dalton's vanishing act doesn't happen in a vacuum. Port Charles is full of people trained to ask the wrong questions at the worst time, and ADA Justine Turner is exactly that kind of problem. She's sharp, persistent, and already suspicious of the way Sonny's orbit bends reality. When Dalton disappears, the natural assumption won't be that he skipped town. It will be that someone made him disappear, and every line of logic will point back to Sonny and Jason. As Sonny and Laura try to steady themselves, a different question gnaws at them: who put Dalton in that trunk in the first place? Bodies don't move themselves. Crimes like this are messages, and Laura can feel the shape of the warning even before she fully understands it. Her mind circles one name again and again: Jen Sidwell. The powerful, calculating operator who has been needling Sonny over Measure C and the docks doesn't seem like the type to get his hands dirty. But he is absolutely the type to engineer a catastrophe and then sit back to enjoy the chaos. Dalton's death, and the way that body was staged in Laura's car, feels less like random violence and more like a carefully aimed strike designed to rattle both the mayor and the mob boss at once. The political battle over Measure C has already pushed Sonny and Sidwell into a quiet, simmering conflict. For Sonny, the docks aren't just real estate or income, they're the foundation of his power. For Sidwell, they're leverage, a way to reshape the city and clip Sonny's wings in one move. The vote going in Sonny's favor should have been a moment of relief, a signal that he had outmaneuvered this new threat. Instead, it feels like the opening act. Sidwell doesn't accept defeat, not in business and certainly not in a war of influence. If Measure C couldn't take Sonny down, perhaps fear, suspicion, and a conveniently placed corpse could. Laura's theory that Sidwell is behind Dalton's fate gains weight not because of proof but because of pattern. Sidwell likes pressure. He likes watching people squirm. He doesn't need to confess to take responsibility. In fact, he's the kind of man who would smirk, deny everything, and still make it painfully clear that he knows exactly what button he pressed and why. Even without a confession, he can taunt Sonny with the knowledge that Laura's horror, Rocco's legal limbo, and the storm gathering over the Corinthos organization are all part of a design he architected from a safe distance. That is Sidwell's power. He doesn't have to pull the trigger to be the one who started the fire. All of this puts Sonny in a position he hates, reactive, cornered, and protecting someone he cares about from a game they never signed up to play. He sees what this is doing to Laura. She's supposed to be the symbol of stability in Port Charles, the face of law and order. Instead, she's waking up every day knowing that somewhere out there is a man who could expose her darkest night with a single whisper. Sonny has broken laws his entire adult life, but the thought of Laura paying for this, of her reputation, career, and freedom being destroyed, makes something cold and ruthless settle in his chest. It's not as though Sonny hasn't considered drastic action before. Jason already floated the idea of eliminating Sidwell entirely, wiping him off the map the way Sonny has done with other obstacles over the years. At that time, Sonny pulled back. Killing Sidwell felt like conceding that there was no other way, and Sonny still believed he could win with strategy and pressure rather than blood. But bodies piling up, loved ones put at risk, and the escalating war over measure C have a way of shrinking that moral distance. Each fresh crisis pushes him closer to the line he doesn't want to cross but has crossed many times before. Now, faced with Dalton's death and Laura's humiliation, it no longer feels like a theoretical debate. It feels like a countdown. If Sidwell can orchestrate this, what's to stop him from targeting someone else Sonny loves next? Which of Sonny's children, partners, or allies is going to be the next pawn in Sidwell's campaign? The uncertainty is worse than any open threat. It gnaws at Sonny in the quiet moments, when the adrenaline wears off and all he can hear is the echo of Laura's voice asking him what they're supposed to do now. Sonny's rage isn't the shouting, table-flipping kind. It's slow, dense, and controlled, a heat that solidifies instead of burns out. He'll make sure Laura stays as far from legal fallout as possible. He'll shield Rocco's future as best he can. He'll play the dutiful ally while the mayor publicly carries on, cutting ribbons and signing documents, pretending she isn't haunted by the memory of a dead man in her trunk. But beneath that facade, Sonny is building something, a plan, a response, a reckoning. Sidwell wants to push him into becoming exactly the monster the world accuses him of being. The tragedy, and the hook for viewers, is that Sonny may let himself become that monster again, not for profit or ego, but out of loyalty and love. General Hospital is setting the stage for a collision where the law, the mob, and raw personal vengeance all intersect. Sonny optimism and civic speeches can't soften the truth. A professor is dead, a mayor is compromised, a prosecutor is circling, and a strategist named Jen Sidwell is sitting somewhere, watching it all unfold like a chess match. Sonny has tried diplomacy, leverage, and patience. Those tools are running out. What remains is the last resort he tried to avoid, the kind of revenge that leaves no one smiling and no one truly safe. And when he finally decides that Sidwell has gone too far, Port Charles won't just feel the aftermath. It will be reshaped by it.